Good evening, I'm Silver Barker and welcome to Newswatch. The two candidates in the Athens mayor race will be answering questions from the public tonight. Newswatch reporter Jack Green, County League of Women Voters candidate forum, which is set to start in about 30 minutes. So Jack, what can Athens voters expect to hear tonight?
Voters can expect to see a high turnout. As you can see right behind these closed doors, the Athens Mayor's Forum is just about to begin. This is the first meeting between Patterson and Crane, but it is not the first time these two have ran against each other. Crane ran against Patterson in 2019. In that race, Crane lost by over 1,500 votes. This year, Crane is once again hoping to unseat Patterson. One of Crane's main focuses is creating better living conditions for renters in Athens. Crane says he wants to increase inspections, tighten up city codes, and fine landlords in violation of those codes. As for Mayor Patterson, he has been mayor for the city since 2015. Patterson is running to continue his work improving the city. Whoever wins this race will hold the office till 2027.
Well, for those who can't make it to tonight's forum, is there any more events that voters can attend?
Well, Silver, as of today, this is the only meeting between Patterson and Crane, so both men will have to find a way to stand out at tonight's event.
Well, I absolutely look forward to hearing what both candidates have to say. Thank you so much for that, Jack. Tonight's forum is the first of many hosted by the Athens County League of Women Voters. Tomorrow, the group will host 3 different forums. At 6:30, the group will host a forum for candidates running for Trimble Local School Board at the Trimble High School. Then at 7, people running for Alexander Local School Board will answer questions at Alexander High School. And finally, candidates for Gloucester Mayor hold a forum at 7:45 p.m. at Trimble High School. As election season heats up, the deadline to register for this year's election inches closer. Ohioans will have 1 week left to register for this year's election. You can register to vote at your county's Board of Elections office or at the Ohio Secretary of State's website. Early voting begins next Wednesday. To check where you're able to cast your ballot, head to your local Board of Elections website. An anti-gerrymandering amendment for Ohio has been approved to move forward in 2024 after being rejected twice. The third attempt from the group Citizens Not Politicians to adjust the voting maps was certified by the Ohio Attorney General's office. Citizens Not Politicians hopes to create a citizens commission to draw Ohio House and Senate maps and amend Ohio constitutional clauses regarding redistricting. Now, the petition moves to the ballot board for approval, which would allow for petitioners to collect signatures in order to put the issue on ballots next fall. Governor Mike DeWine announced that there is no longer an Ohio Department of Education. Funds will continue through schools through the new Department of Education and Workforce. Sky Perryman with Democracy Forward made it clear that if DeWine removed any power from the school board, he should be held in contempt. The City of Athens is now accepting bids for the Uptown Improvements Project. Athens City Council voted unanimously last night to advertise and accept bids for the project. The project plans on making major accessibility improvements to Uptown's streets and sidewalks, most notably changing crosswalks to brick-stamped concrete. Plans for the project are expected to be announced in December, with construction beginning this upcoming summer. And now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at your current weather with Cam.
Thank you, Silver. And I have bad news for a lot of people, but the current weather right now is hot, even though the calendar has flipped to October. The temperature isn't quite going to match that right now. We've got a current temperature, of 84 degrees in Athens, which I know is not what I want to see for the beginning of the month. Winds right now are going to be from the southeast at 7 miles per hour. Our barometer is sitting steady at 30.13 miles an hour. It might be a reason for the clear weather. And we have perfect visibility and 7-mile-an-hour winds across the region right now. We're seeing temperatures in the low 80s begin to cool off as we move into the evening hours. 84 degrees here in Athens, and we'll see temperatures very similar to that across the region, except for Springfield over here where we're seeing 0 degrees. Might want to check on your gardens if that's the case. Tonight we're expecting a low of 57 degrees. The weather's going to cool off quick, and there's going to be a chance of some patchy fog tomorrow morning. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Tomorrow's sunrise is going to be at 7:26 in the morning, and we are going to be working our way towards a full moon, heading towards a very dark night coming up once we hit that new moon. But it's a waning gibbous right now. And that'll be your first look at the weather. Now I'll toss it back over to Silver.
Thank you so much for that, Cam. October is Pedestrian Safety Month, and the Ohio State Highway Patrol is reminding both pedestrians and drivers that safety is a shared responsibility. Governor's statistics show that for years, pedestrian roadway deaths have been on the rise. Safety advocates say part of the problem is increasingly large trucks and SUVs that are especially dangerous to walkers, runners, and bicyclists. Just last night, a Jackson County man thrown from his bicycle after an SUV collided with him attempting to turn left into a driveway. Since 2011, pedestrian and cyclist deaths have increased 64%. The National Highway and Safety Patrol has tips to stay safe on the sidewalk. Always walk on the sidewalk, and if there isn't one, walk facing oncoming traffic as far away from vehicles as you can. Be visible at all times, wearing bright clothing during the day and reflective clothing at night. Never assume a car can see you. Make eye contact with the drivers as they approach you so you know you are seen. And finally, stay alert at all times. Avoid your phone or other distractions that may take your eyes and ears off the road. And coming up tonight, we'll be looking at Speaker's Talk. The United States House stands on unstable ground after the removal of Speaker McCarthy. And student loan payments return after 3 years. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
And even though it was warm today, when are we finally going to get our taste of cozy fall temperatures? And are your weekends going to be spoiled by some rain? I'll talk about that and more on my full forecast next on Newswatch.
There's been a murder.
How long had he worked undercover?
Years. It was like a drug. The risk, the secrecy.
I believe the expression is, follow that cab.
You are positively over-familiar with certain members of the team.
I don't know who you are, but you're parking up the wrong tree.
We're planning to intercept them tonight.
You betrayed us.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
Remember? First impressions.
This just is the beginning to a change in fortunes.
I'm awake. I feel like I've opened my eyes. The world is changing.
I think we should take it to the next level.
Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? I thought that was rather jolly. So much fun.
You make a good team.
And what will you tell the child when they ask where their dad is?
There's a wall. I'll tell them you're dead. Are you ready for it?
If we can find him, we'll get him.
I'm here to make sure justice gets done.
I really love you more than anything.
It's really loud.
Shall we?
Fortune favors the bold.
It feels more like the start of something than the end.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
Can we get some help in here, please?
Englehart's gone. Maybe to the nightclub.
Right way. Move!
Who benefits most from the death?
He's got motive, he's got opportunity. Let's keep digging.
I've told you what this is all about. Something's going on. I'll call the others.
Kicking myself not figuring out sooner. Police! Open up! Vantabok, the season finale on Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday at 10 on WOUB.
Chaos on Capitol Hill as House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is ousted from his post. The motion to vacate the speakership passed this afternoon in a narrow vote. Now we're seeing something that's never happened before in American history. A speaker removed from his post and a paralyzed Congress with one of the three branches of American government without a leader. Gloria Pasmino explains.
The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
A revolt on Capitol Hill. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy put his political life on the line Tuesday, calling a vote on a motion to oust him from his post. That motion passed by a vote of 216 to 210. The effort was led by Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida and comes just days after McCarthy relied on Democrats to pass a stopgap spending bill to avert a government shutdown. The move to oust McCarthy is yet another escalation of long-standing tensions between McCarthy and a bloc of conservative hardliners in his party.
If you throw a speaker out that has 99% of their conference, that kept government open and paid the troops, I think we're in a really bad place for how we're going to run Congress.
As expected, no Democrats came to McCarthy's aid.
This is not a Democratic problem. This is a Republican problem. They supposedly have the majority. They should be able to pick their own speaker.
Kevin McCarthy's not trustworthy. We don't trust him. Their own conference doesn't trust him.
McCarthy says he will fight it out on the House floor, even if it means running for Speaker again. In the meantime, Republicans frustrated with Gaetz as they brace for the impact of a paralyzed government.
It definitely puts the majority in jeopardy when you see disunity.
I think it's sending a terrible signal to the electorate in advance of the 24 election.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
A New York judge has imposed a limited gag order on Donald Trump after he disparaged a court staffer during his trial. The limited gag order applies to all parties within the case and regards verbal attacks on court staff. The order came after Trump recirculated a negative social media post about Allison Greenfield, Judge and Gorgon's principal law clerk. Analysis from Anderson Economic Group released Monday lays bare the monetary impact of the United Auto Workers strike. The strike against the big three automakers cost $3.95 billion in the first 2 weeks. That's up significantly from the $1.6 billion in losses in the first week. The second week added 38 General Motors and Stellantis plants to the 3 Ford, GM, and Stellantis plants already on strike. Upwards of 18,000 auto workers are now on the picket lines, making the second week costlier than the first. Direct lost wages added up to $325 million. However, many of the workers on strike or who have been laid off could be eligible for the union's strike pay of $500 a week. The companies lost $1.12 billion. Suppliers lost an estimated $1.29 billion, while dealers and customers lost $1.2 billion. Parma Metal has removed 130 employers from its staff temporarily. With mounting support for striking workers, employees at this plant have been laid off. The workers who are striking will be on a strike pay of $500 a week and will return to their jobs once the strike is over. The number of available jobs in the United States expectedly grew in August, According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there were an estimated 9.6 million open jobs. This growth bucks a 3-month decline and shows the continued strength of the labor market. Some of the biggest jumps in postings were in professional and business services, finance, and non-durable goods manufacturing. Meanwhile, the number of new hires ticked up slightly from July, as did the number of workers who quit their jobs. Layoffs held steady. The pandemic-era pause on federal student loan payments officially ended on Sunday, and now millions of Americans have another monthly bill to budget. How can borrowers best navigate those payments in uncertain economic times, and what could the restart mean for the overall economy? Karen Kaifa in Washington with the latest.
It's October, which means it's time to start making federal student loan payments again after a more than 3-year reprieve due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Betsy Mayotte of the Institute for Student Loan Advisors says the transition could be challenging for some borrowers.
There's been a lot of changes since the pause started. Things like housing and lettuce are a lot more expensive than they were pre-COVID.
Mayotte recommends borrowers use the loan simulator tool at studentaid.gov to determine which repayment option is best for them. And remember, the Biden administration has instituted an on-ramp plan, a grace period on missed payments through September 2024.
Normally with federal student loans, if you're 90 days delinquent or more, it starts getting reported negatively to the credit bureaus. That's not going to happen during these 12 months.
Interest, however, will accrue. Beyond the on-ramp window, Mayotte says to make plans now to avoid default, which happens if payments are not made for 270 days or about 9 months.
It will have a significant negative impact on your credit report, which can affect other things like buying a house, the interest rates on your credit cards, a car loan, and so on. So default really should be avoided at all costs.
Borrowers in default on federal student loans could also see their federal tax refund or even a portion of their paycheck withheld. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Good evening, everybody, and I hope you had a chance to take advantage of the summer-like clear weather that we had today, because it was something special, especially now that it's October. Beautiful clear skies over our region of the country, and we have a few storms beginning to churn up out on the other side of the mountains. That might be a problem for us later. It's this big high-pressure system that's keeping everything clear. And then we have a big cold front coming over to the east that is going to begin to strengthen and affect the weather over the upcoming days. Right now, though, we saw super warm temperatures across the country, all the way up into the high 80s around us, and then you can just see the strong cold front that's going on. 65 degrees in Rapid City, 76 degrees, not too terribly far away in Kansas City. Across the region tonight, that cold front's going to make its way through the central part of the country. We're going to see storms and 60-degree temperatures around where it is, and then all the way over by us, we're going to see lower temperatures as that high-pressure system is going to continue to build and keep skies clear. Speaking of clear skies tonight, that's what we can expect as long as a low temperature of 57 degrees. Sunrise tomorrow morning is expected at 7:26 a.m. as well as a little bit of patchy fog, and you can see on our past 24-hour temperature change, we go all the way down to 54 degrees and then we warm up super fast up to 84 degrees towards the middle part of the day, and that is going to cause moisture to condense into fog as the day happens. Once it gets too warm, though, we're not really going to see any sort of fog last into the day. But make sure you stay safe in your morning commute. Tomorrow we're expecting a high temperature of 85 degrees and another quick cool off as we go into 59 degrees. This high pressure system over here is going to continue to build, and here's our problem cold front, which is going to make its way into the region by tomorrow night, further, and then by Thursday it is going to be hot on our tail, affecting right the central part of the country, and then we will have that high pressure system begin to scoot off to the east over the way. On the 7-day outlook, we'll have high temperature of 85 tomorrow as that high pressure system flow from the southwest is going to keep things warmer, and then clouds are going to start to advance as that cold front gets a little closer. Then Friday, we are going to see the effects of that cold front down to 70 degrees with a 40% chance of showers. And then once again on Saturday, we're going to be down to 59 degrees and rain through the beginning of the weekend. I know that's not going to be fun for anybody who's planning on doing anything outdoors during that period of time. Sunday, partly sunny with a high of 58 degrees and a low of almost freezing. We're getting to that time of the year, everyone, 39 degrees. By Monday, clouds are going to kick up once again, and we'll be up to 62 degrees. But temperatures not really getting much higher, even though we are seeing a general warming trend. And then by Tuesday, we're going to see a temperature of 65 degrees, another high pressure system continue to build in. But I know we are going to finally see temperatures that make it feel like it's October. Speaking of October, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the United States. We'll take you over to Silver to tell us a little bit more about how you can prepare. Silver?
Thanks, Cam. That's right. It's the second most common cancer among women in the U.S. While the annual rate of deaths from breast cancer is declining, it remains the leading cause of cancer deaths among women overall. And early detection is critical to survival. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on the importance of getting screened early and often.
Kind of looked down and I was like, what is this? It was like a snowball rolling downhill.
In just weeks, Felicia Brown went from finding a lump in the shower to a diagnosis of stage 3 triple-negative breast cancer. After that came 6 months of chemo, then a double mastectomy and radiation treatments.
If it had not have been for me noticing that what I had wasn't there the day before, I probably wouldn't have been here.
The American Cancer Society says early detection is critical, and so is knowing your breast cancer risk.
Breast cancer screening is much more than just about your age. It's about your family history, your genetics, if you know them, and your own personal medical history.
When to start screening will depend on your risk. The organization says women at average risk for breast cancer should begin talking to their doctor about the best time to start screenings in their early 40s. By age 45, there should be a mammogram every year.
Grab your girlfriends, support each other in breast cancer screening.
Women at high risk for breast cancer should get a breast MRI and mammogram every year starting around age 30, and everyone should pay attention to changes in their bodies.
here I am, almost 17 years cancer-free. And I just continue to just live in that. And I thank God and my family every day.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The American Cancer Society says there are ways to reduce risk of breast cancer. That includes being physically active, maintaining a healthy body weight, and reducing alcohol intake.
Coming up in sports, the Nelsonville York volleyball team is on the hunt to get a conference title. And for the latest on Newswatch, check it out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
As a Beatle, John Lennon belonged to the world. Now American Masters tells us the intimate story of how he found himself.
Being John Lennon.
John would often say, I should have been born in New York City.
The greatest place on earth. One of my biggest kicks is doing things I couldn't do when I was, in the middle of the Beatles stuff.
Meet the John Lennon few knew in Lennon, NYC.
Just try, okay?
Only on American Masters.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB. Saturday at 10 on WOUB.
The Cartober fundraising drive is on. Help give back this month by donating your used car, truck, RV, or boat to our station. Donating is easy and it's tax deductible. Just call this toll-free number. Schedule your free pickup, we'll tow it and give you a donation receipt. Can't donate a car? Spread the word by telling your friends or family and using the hashtag Cartober2023. Learn more by calling this toll-free number or visiting us online.
On America Outdoors, for centuries, Utah has been a land of pilgrimage, attracting people in search of transformation, spiritual, mental, or physical. They were drawn by something special about this land. What did they come here looking for?
Keep running.
And what are they looking for today? I'm here to find out exactly what that is.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
Welcome back, I'm Peyton Brooker. In volleyball tonight, the top team in the TVC Ohio, the Nelsonville York Buckeyes, are quickly heading towards the conference title. The Buckeyes so far are going in tonight after a huge sweep over the Trimble Tomcats and have quickly taken over first place in the conference. Currently, the team is 16-2 this season and are undefeated in conference play. Nelsonville York is led by a strong front end by Macy Call and Gannon Dixon. The Buckeyes have also dropped only 8 sets to their opponents. As far as the conference race goes, this team only needs 3 more wins to secure the TVC Ohio outright. Head coach Wayne Dickin credits this team after a win against Trimble as this effort to take care of themselves.
To have practice. I tried to give them Friday off, and it was homecoming, and they wanted to come in at least. Can we get an hour of work in? So I don't really have to do much because the girls take care of a lot of it for themselves. Next week we have 2 big TVC games against River Valley and Wellston, so hopefully we can take care of business there and continue to work towards that TVC championship.
As for this game tonight, a few players from the Buckeyes come to mind. Chloe Lehman has been tearing up the charts in kills as she leads the team with 266 so far. Right behind her is Keely Warren with 222 kills as Nelsonville team begins lighting it up this recently. For the Wellston Golden Rockets, they are currently looking to find a win as they are only on a 6-game losing streak. The Golden Rockets are led by the 2 seniors McKenna Eberts and Lauren Chetman. The first serve tonight is at 7:15 in Nelsonville, York. And finally, then tonight, the Ohio Bobcats have far been defensively nationally successful, credited going into their homecoming game. The Bobcats on the entire nation are ranked 4th in total points allowed and also 3rd in the total yards allowed. This is accomplished by their two roommates and linebackers in Key Thompson and Bryce Houston. Houston leads the team in total tackles with 49 tackles, and Thompson just behind with 28. With this momentum at the national level, the Bobcats are beginning to break through as they take on the Golden Flashes in our homecoming night. Head coach Tim Allen discusses their defense this week. It has been in and out, having overcome a lot of pressure coming into this point at the season.
I got to say on the defensive piece that they're just week in and week out.
you know, and they've had a few injuries, you know, and they've overcome it. I think that it speaks volume to the talent that we have on the roster, particularly on defense and plugging guys in. And we certainly got enough work at that last year.
And the Bobcats play this Saturday at Payton Stadium at 3:30, and it should be an exciting game going out for the homecoming game.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot. I've been hearing a lot of hype on campus about it. I'm just going to be honest. So, what players are to look out for? Is that what we just seen? Is that what we need to look out for?
There's a good teams on defense as well, but you got some offensive players like Curtis Work and C.A. Bangura, which is going to be a very huge threat for Ohio this
Oh,
year.
awesome. Well, definitely get out and watch that game. I look forward to it myself. Still after the break, a scientist from Ohio wins this year's Nobel Prize for Physics. And coming up later, let's take a look at what's on our station. Here's a look, and make sure to stay tuned with WOUB.
Consumed by pain and passion, Frida's art imitates life.
I believe the painting is a message for Rivera.
Despite it all,
everything is falling apart.
She continues to paint. The final installment of Becoming Frida Kahlo.
Whoever opens a door or a window opens it for everybody. And Frida Kahlo opened windows.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Knocking me down, but my heart keeps beating.
If you know where you come from, you'll know where you're going.
I know a brighter day will come.
My lovely city became divided.
Every bruise and every scar makes us who we are.
We were brought up in a culture that valued story.
Our stories deserve to be heard.
Okay, what just happened? It's moving. My heart is singing.
They could not imagine existence without the buffalo.
There's no gospel without the totality of African American culture.
Our future looks like us telling our stories.
Wow. God, that's satisfying.
Who we are.
Let's do it!
I am Hispanic, and I hold on to that so fiercely.
You bring your point of view from where you come from. Visibility is feeling that you belong.
I feel so empowered.
I've seen the rise of new artists bringing hope to the barrio.
Are you proud?
Yeah.
This year's Nobel Prize for Physics went to 3 scientists for their research into electrons and flashes of light. The Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences announced the prestigious honor Tuesday in Stockholm. Pierre Agostini, Fenrik Krauss, and Anne Luhiller created flashes of light that are short enough to take snapshots of electrons, extremely rapid movements. Before them, it was thought impossible to follow electrons. Agostini is a professor emeritus at Ohio State University. His colleagues are from Germany and Sweden. The Academy praised the scientists for giving humanity new tools for exploring the world of atoms and molecules. Well, let's give it over to Cam for a look at your final weather.
Thanks, Silver. I'd love to explore tonight's weather with you. It'll be 57 degrees under mostly clear skies. With sunrise at 7:26 in the morning, we're also going to see some fog form through the night. That's going to mix out pretty quickly for us as the day continues. And tomorrow we're expecting a high of 85 and a low of 59 as that high pressure system continues to take hold. And this weekend we're going to see a little bit of rain and a huge temperature drop off for Saturday. We'll have a cold front make its way through the region all the way down into the 40s through Saturday and Sunday. And that is your look at your final weather. Now we'll take it back to Silver to close out the show.
All right, well, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Silver Barker. And for all of the rest of us here, stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.
Support for PBS NewsHour is proudly provided by Luke S. Frazier.